Hello and welcome to another episode of Invalid Entry. My name is James Taylor. We're starting a new project today. I've got a couple of projects on the go, but they're quite long projects like Antiscape. This is a thing that I have to get done, or I should be getting done, so I thought I'd turn it into a project and sort of take you through the steps of how I do this and how I architect it and how I think about this as a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to be upgrading our the community of Invalid Entry. So first of all, we have a Discord. We have a brand new Discord that has been set up. I have a lot of friends, and we have a more of a friends-based Discord. But I've heard some of you guys want to join this, and so we'll have a new Discord. So we're going to have a Discord server, and that Discord server is going to have channels in it. Okay. Now, you will come in here as people, and you will sit in the channel, and you will chat, and you will post smileys and pictures of cats. Because that's what people do on the internet, is post pictures of cats. The whole point of the internet is to share pictures of cats. I've seen the Flickr presentation. It's all about sharing cats. And GIFs, of course. You can't forget animation GIFs. So, depending which group you're in, so there's roles attached to this, will depend on which channels you can see. So to manage the group, at the moment in our other one, and I've just lost focus here, we have a thing called J1, a Discord bot called J1. Okay, J1 is a completely homebrew Discord bot. There's plenty of other Discord bots out there, by the way. I'm not advocating my Discord bot over other people's Discord bots. But there is a Discord bot called J1, and J1 is going to manage those roles. Now, what I started doing the other week was I started having NFTs. So we have a collection on NFTs, which are going to be handed out to people. People who will watch the video, subscribers, people who have helped me over the year, they're going to be handed out to people. What's going to happen is J1 is going to link who has NFT to roles. So if you have one of these, if you've been given one of these, or if you traded one of these, and there'll be certain NFTs which give you access to certain things, you will be allowed into various channels, and those channels will then have sneak previews. So I do apologise about the focus here. I may be able to turn off the autofocus on this camera and just force it into perspective. There we go. Lock that focus in. It's a little bit out there, but there it is. Right. So with that in mind, J1's going to basically be the brains behind, also a fluffy cloud, behind what's going on here. J1, however, is going to need a database. He's going to have to remember things like who. Also, the other one is YouTube subscribers. So if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be watching on YouTube, unless you've broken into my house and just watching this like real time, in which case you won't get the edited highlights. Basically, he's also going to track who's subscribed on YouTube and give access based on that. So he's going to need a database to remember who on Discord people are, as well as who people are over on YouTube, and in terms of wallet IDs. So there's a little bit of work going on there to sort of work out how this thing works. At the moment, John doesn't really have a database. He's just using a flat file to remember just channel IDs and things. So he's going to get an upgrade. And what we're going to do is we're going to build him into a Django app. He's going to be a management command in Django, which is just running all the time, getting web events. But he can write to the Django the database, using the ORM. So today what we're going to do is we'll have a quick look at the database design and do a tiny bit of database design, and then code that up very, very quickly. It should not take very long. So database design. Database design is something that you're taught in high school. Yeah, there's formal methods of database design. There's ad hoc ways of doing it as well. I like to use third normal form first. There are things that we don't fully normalize in modern databases. I am going to use a relational database. I'll use probably something like Maria. Probably Maria, to be honest with you. I believe I'm running a Maria database. It might be MySQL, but it might be Maria. So we'll see. What we're going to do though is we know we're going to want to understand. You start thinking about the objects you want to understand. The way I do it, I draw these big boxes, and in these big boxes I put the top what it is. So these are going to be Discord roles. So these are the roles which can and can't be assigned. So I've got to track IDs. I start writing in the boxes things that I know are part of that object. And when I make mistakes, it's okay, I just cross them out, and I do this diagram a couple of times until I've got a good idea what it is. So Discord roles or groups or whatever they're called these days. And I also know that I've got an object which is a Discord user. Now, I'm not going to extend user on this, the Django user on this, and I'll explain why in a moment. So this is going to be a Discord user, and it's going to have some kind of user ID. And by user ID, I don't mean the PK of this. I mean there's actually going to be a Discord user ID, which is like, I think they're actually numeric full GUID IDs, but it might be like mine stands and hash some number in there. And there's going to be a linking here. Now, if I make this a main-to-many link, which will be managed by JMO depending on what other decisions he makes, this main-to-many link is a Django special, and the way it works is it creates an invisible table. That it's not invisible, but it's just creates a table between, so you can just ignore that table. I don't want to ignore it because I'm going to want to put parameters in that. So I'm going to make a table here, which is user in role or user role or something like that. And basically that's going to link. So it's going to have the DU ID, and it's going to have the Discord, the role ID as well linked. Actually, these are the PKs rather than the actual ID from here. I'm also going to put a name here so I can find this, and I'm probably going to put an alias here so I can find this one later as well. I may do a last seen or added. There may be a verified. These sort of, and verified might be me verifying it, something. I don't know. These will be metadata that I want to store in this object. So I usually don't bother writing out all the metadata at this point. I'll just add those into my model when I come to code it up. So this is going to be my Discord sort of model. I'm also going to want to remember, so we're going to issue NFTs. So NFTs is going to be up here. And these are the NFTs which effectively invalid entry owns rather than me personally. So I'm separating out my ones that I've given to myself versus the invalid entry ones, which are the ones I'm just giving away. And these are going to have, a name, some kind of probably description, an ID, probably a URL, because I'm going to just link to them on, OpenSea or something, probably a count, and probably a notes. A notes field is going to be for my private field file. I can stick information in there, or for supporters, people running the system for me. I'm also going to want to track people's wallet ID. So I'm going to want a table which is just going to be probably the wallet IDs. And these are going to be the ID. These to be meta wallets, by the way. I'm going to come back to why meta wallets later on. So I'm going to have a flag which could be type, i.e. MetaMask wallets. I'm going to want a name here so I can name these things later, because they may not be linked to a real user. And I'm going to also have a user. Now this is where I started to think about in my head, how do these things linked? Well, at any point in time, I can ask the NFT who owns it. Right? That's I don't need to be the source of truth in that. That defeats the point of using NFTs, by the way. And I will do a video about why I'm picking NFTs in this. More of a historic, I just reinvented the wheel a little bit. But what I'm actually going to do here is have another table which is issued. Okay, so this is when I give them away. The initial offering is going to link those two together. So it's going to be who, when, how many, and a reason. And the reason probably make that blank equals true, null equals true, so on. So I can just type notes in there saying, I gave you 4 for some reason. So I can track in future, because that person then gives those NFTs away. Then that's fine. They're allowed to do that. That's perfectly allowed. I encourage that. What's actually going to happen? There's probably a count here as well. What I'm going to be doing is giving away people like 3 or 4, so they can keep 1 and hand on 2 or 3 as well. Okay, so here we go. This is now broken down this, but there's no linking now between the Discord user and the wallet user. The other thing is I'm going to have a concept of a Google account. Okay, and the Google account is going to be probably an email, probably. I actually don't know how Google account track. And these, you're going to log on with your Google account, and you're going to authorize by your Google account. This is the easiest way for me to do anti-fraud at my level, as a hobbyist level. As a professional, you could do know your customer or something. That'd be terrifying. So you're going to log on with your Google account here, and you also, whether or not you've given me permissions to view your account, and this is how I can check whether you're a subscriber or not. You don't have to give me permissions. If you don't give me permissions, you're not going to be given stuff. It's that simple. It's that straightforward. So at this point, what we need is some form of object here, which I'm going to call a person. So I'm going to model this as a person, and the person has a name and possibly some contact information, but I'm not going to model the contact information right now. But at the moment I'm going to have a name in here. These are all going to have an optional link, so they're going to be this user here is actually my person, and these are going to be optional because I can have a wallet that I don't know who it belongs to. I can have a Google account that I haven't know who it belongs to. I can have a Discord user who I haven't yet signed up. So you can just go, these people are in Discord, not yet signed up. So that's an interesting situation to have. It also means if someone comes along and says, I want you to delete me from the system, I don't need to know them anymore, but I want to keep, for example, their wallet information for auditing and historical purposes, which there are some rules here about what I have to do with personal information and things. So if I say I don't want this person anymore in my system, I can just sever this link. Or somehow someone managed to get 2 accounts, they've got the Discord user and they want to reassociate, I can come along and create that association there. It is possible you could have multiple Discord users on the same person. It is also possible that there's multiple linkings. By having this as the link in, you have the sort of one-to-many sort of going on here. You also have one-to-many issuance there, and you have kind of a one-to-many going that way as well. Yeah, that looks right. Over here, you have a one-to-many of those, and you have one-to-many of those, which actually makes a many-to-many across the entire linkage, which is fine. This here will have an optional Django user, so that will hook into Django user, which I will not be modifying. That's the stock Django user, and this is so I can if I ever want you to log onto the website, you'll be using that to log onto the actual website or getting permissions, because this hooks into then groups, roles, permissions inside the website itself. So as an application, this is my first stab at the database design. As far as I can tell, looking at it, it looks about right. There may be some metadata over here. There's questions like, well, what happens if I give you a token and I give you a few more tokens? Do I get up the count, or do you 2 groups have issued? Sort of thinking about how I might query this and how I might view this information is very important. What's going to happen is we're going to be using this as a way of searching. So I can say, who is this Discord user? Are they currently still subscribed? So I say, okay, find the Google accounts linked against this Discord user. Check those. Have they got permission? Yeah, check if they're subscribed. If they are subscribed. So what I can now do alongside this is start thinking about tasks, or start thinking about applications which will sit over here, and what they're going to modify. They're actually going to modify this table. They're actually going to add entries into here to keep, and then modify the actual roles in Discord itself. They're also going to be able to do things like when I say, okay, issue, I can make a web page. People can sign up and upload their F details in a wallet track and track what their wallets they've given me. And I can then come along and select 10 accounts at random and give them some vouchers each, sort of thing, NFTs each. So this is my overall plan of how to break down the database. And the next thing we're going to do is code this up in Django and convert it really quickly as a first stab Django. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to just sort out the database models in here. I've got a brand new Django site, brand new Django code base, brand new, nothing in it at all. I've just done migrate for the first time, so it's all clear, all the defaults. And I've run start app, so I've got my code site, which will be bring this for the code part of the site, and my community application here. There's no linking, so the first thing we have to do in here is add community to the installed applications. Once we've done that, I'm not going to do URLs or views today. That'll come soon. I've only had a couple of views to begin with anyway. I'm going to go straight into models and start building out these models from the diagram that I had in my head. Now, what we're going to do here actually is build the models in sort of together, and then also put in the register for the admin page at the same time, because I like to do that. I'm going to check URLs has the admin site already on it, so that's all good. So in here, what we're going to do is we're just going to start defining some models straight away. So class NFT. It's going to start at the start, right? And this is going to be a models.model. And what I can just do is I can just start padding these models out so that they exist. Okay. Every time I make a model, what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to do admin.register NFT, that model name, and then do class NFT admin. Now what this means is that I will be able to sort out the columns, because what I like to do straight away is that they're registered. This will have a name, text field. I'm actually going to change that to a char field, because I have this nasty habit of having text fields everywhere, and text fields are quite inefficient because they're a variable and text fields. So I should use char fields more often. It makes I'm prototyping. I'll have a text field and work it out later. So that's going to be my thing here, and then here, what I'm going to do here is do list display, and then this got to be a list, but it's going to be name. So it's going to have the name as its field. And that's basically how we start building out the model. So we just do this a couple of times. And I'll probably fast forward this bit to just get all these in as I type them in. Okay, so that's all the roles sort of chopped up. And now we just go through and start filling out some of these things. To begin with, I actually know what I need here. So this I'm actually going to comment out for the moment, and come back to that, because I actually don't know what fields I need there. When I do the Google integration later, I'll fill that out. So as a beginning state, this is my thing. Apart from these all need filling out here. So these all need to have. They're going to be basically, and they're going to be a lot of copy pasting going on. Handy. Next one here, models.text field. No, char field. Now, weirdly here, I'm going to make this blank equals true, null equals true. And I'm also going to put I'm going to put the PK onto this one as well. I know that I haven't got a PK here, but there is a PK. All models have a PK in Django. This is going to be max length 255 again. Now, pardon me. What this is important to say is that the username, I might not know who the user is, but I still need it as an object. This object actually needs to go right at the top. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to take the foreign key here, this is called user role, and we're going to put that onto things like Discord user. So we're actually going to say it ties in here with person. Let's go to person, that. So this can now be linked to a person, and it can be blank equals true, null equals true. Okay, so we're going to take that line exactly as it is, and we're going to put it into a wallet. So a wallet doesn't have to have an owner, it could just be a wallet in its own right. And we're also going to put it, we don't have the Google account yet, but it will go into the Google account here, over here, when we fill that out. So there we are. But it may seem weird having a person with very little on it, like arguably I could take that out altogether. The point is that's my holding together to link these things together. Most things will tie off person as we go forward as identity. So you'll have a lot of things hanging off user or attaching to user, but it itself doesn't actually need to be much, because you're either tied into identity provider or you're tied into this. And this is the baseline model. I think someone with a bit less experience would be tempted to fill person out more, and so a person has more parameters, like they have a primary wallet or they have a Google email address or whatever. So I just don't need to. And actually building lighter and leaving stuff out makes it easier for me to modify this in the future. So with that in place, what we should be able to do is do Python manage make migrations. So I get my very first, and it doesn't like it. because I left open a bracket somewhere. There we go. In fact, I shouldn't have done that. So black hash.py. Just shuffle all the code. Do that right. Right. So that's the thing. So basically, the list display must be a list or tuple. Yeah, I did think this when I did this. Oh no, I didn't put brackets on it at all. Oh, I did. Did black take that out? I think I had to put a comma in there. Otherwise, it's not a list or tuple. I think they took that out. There we go. So it's made a migration for me. I'm going to migrate that straight away. I'm using the test mode, so I've got SQLite database there. Going to run the server. Now, what's quite interesting these days is the run server. Have I got a web browser open? No, I don't. Localhost 8000. There we go. So it now looks like this is the new Django. Hey, look at that. It's very cool. Admin. One of the things I haven't done. For those of you who know me, you'll know that password for a dev site, I use my dev site password because often I have when you dev and you just need dev site passwords. This isn't public, and my site will have a proper password. Anyway, so what you see here, these are already created. I've got this idea of people. There's no people in there. I've got a Discord roles. There's no roles. But I could go into one of these now and say I'm actually going to create a person. So I'm going to create myself because I like to be user number one in my systems. So there we are. There's a person number one, person JT, and all this free stuff that you get for Django already exists. So the database objects are all made. And what's better about this is I can now actually go into here as like Discord user, create a Discord user in here, person object one. Now that's happened because I haven't overloaded the str object. So I can nip, if I want to get that, sort that out now, I can go back in here into Discord user, so into person, and just define like this. Sort that out now. And if I want a more complicated thing here, so just reload this page, and I can see it, that's me, add myself in. Remember that could be blank, so I could have a lot of blank ones here. Now this page also falls over if you have thousands and thousands of users because it has to load thousands and thousands of things. It also does quite a good job on injection attacks, just so people know. So if you do have a free sign-up system, someone puts like JavaScript or HTML things in here, you won't get it rendered in the browser. There's a whole thing on injection attacks. I could talk about injection attacks for a long time. So I can put all my stuff in here, down in notes, save that, and that now exists, and I can see it's linked against my user. I begin to query this via objects and models. Pardon me. I'm going to delete that now, because that user is definitely broken. Anyway, that's where I'm going to stop there. So that's my database setup for my bot to be able to start querying, start running. So next episode, I'm going to build the bot as a Django management command so it can access these models, and we'll see how we get from there. So that's it from me for now. If you've enjoyed this, please hit like, please hit subscribe. As I mentioned, we actually have a brand new Discord server. The URL for this is tinyurl.com/invad-discord, and I promise that's not a rickroll. I promise that really is our Discord server. I believe right now, if you were to click it right now, as the moment this video comes out, you would be the third person in there. It's that brand new, and I hope to see you guys in there. And if you enjoy this, please hit like, please subscribe, and we're going to be back on this project in another day. I'm going to space out a little bit, but there's going to be some real coding. We're going to sort these coding problems out. I'm going to show the architecture, my thinking as I go through it. And also I'll be commenting in here about some of the other projects. There's going to be different channels, different projects, and you can ignore the ones you're not interested in and be involved with the ones you are interested in. And that's it from me. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next episode.